There's a kind of silence that isn't empty. It's full of doubt, full of questions no one answers, full of the weight of wondering if what you're waiting for will ever come. She sat by the window every morning, watching the world move while she stayed still. Not because she'd given up, but because she didn't know if holding on was courage or foolishness. And in that silence, something was growing, something she couldn't see yet. If patience has ever been tested, stay with this story and let it remind you why you're still here. Subscribe and walk with us. Maya's apartment smelled like old coffee and fading hope. The kind of place where dreams come to rest, unsure if they're sleeping or dying. She was 29, but some mornings she felt ancient, like she'd lived 100 lives of waiting and none of them had led anywhere. The laptop sat open on the kitchen table, the cursor blinking on a blank email draft. Another application, another carefully written cover letter. Another prayer sent into the void. Rejections. 18 polite, templated responses that all said the same thing in different words. We've decided to move forward with other candidates. She knew them by heart now, could recite them in her sleep. Sometimes she did. Her phone buzzed. A text from her mother. Any news, sweetheart? The same question. Week after week, wrapped in love but weighted with worry. Maya typed and deleted 3 different responses before settling on, not yet, still hoping. Hoping. That word had become her entire identity. She was the girl who was still trying, still believing, still foolish enough to think that persistence meant something. Outside her window, the city hummed with purpose. People rushing to jobs they had, lives they were living. She watched a young woman in a sharp blazer climb into a taxi, phone pressed to her ear, laughing about something. Maya used to be her, used to move through the world like she belonged in it. Now she felt like a ghost haunting her own life. Her best friend, Jade, had stopped asking about the applications 2 months ago. Not out of cruelty, but out of mercy. At their last coffee, "Meet up," Jade had said gently, carefully. "Maybe it's time to consider other options. You're so talented, Maya. There are other paths." And Maya had smiled and nodded because she didn't know how to explain that this wasn't about stubbornness. It was about something deeper, something she couldn't name, a pull she couldn't ignore, even when ignoring it would have been easier. 3 years, 1,095 days of waking up and choosing to believe. Her savings account had become a countdown timer. Her confidence had become a fragile thing she had to rebuild every morning, brick by brick, only to watch it crumble by evening. "Why?" she whispered to the empty room. "Why do I keep doing this?" The silence didn't answer. Then came the 19th letter. It arrived on a Thursday afternoon, disguised as just another email notification. She almost didn't open it, almost let it sit there, unread, because at least then she could still hope. But she clicked, she read, and the words blurred together into the same familiar rejection, dressed in the same polite language. Maya didn't cry. She'd run out of tears somewhere around rejection number 12. Instead, she laughed. A strange, hollow sound that didn't belong to her. She closed the laptop, grabbed her keys, and walked. The park was quiet. It always was at this hour, caught between the lunch rush and the evening joggers. She found the old oak tree, the one she used to sit under as a child, back when the future felt like a wide-open field and not a narrowing hallway. She leaned against the rough bark and closed her eyes. "I don't know what I'm doing anymore," she said aloud to no one and everyone. "I don't know if I'm being patient or just stupid." The wind moved through the leaves above her, And for a moment, she let herself stop fighting. Stop holding on so tight. Stop demanding answers from a universe that didn't owe her any. And in that space of surrender, something shifted. It wasn't a voice. It wasn't a revelation. It was softer than that, a thought that felt like it came from somewhere deep inside, from a version of herself she'd forgotten. What if patience isn't about waiting for something to happen, but becoming someone while you wait? Maya opened her eyes. The tree looked the same. The park looked the same. But something in her felt different. Lighter. She thought about the last 3 years, not as wasted time, but as something else. She'd learned to write better, to advocate for herself, to withstand disappointment and still choose hope. She'd volunteered, met people, read books she wouldn't have read, had conversations she wouldn't have had. She wasn't the same person who sent that first application. She'd been growing, roots she couldn't see. "What if I stopped waiting for permission?" she whispered. That night, Maya opened her laptop, not to write another application, but to write something true. She started a blog, called it The Long Wait, and she wrote about what no one talks about, the in-between, the hoping, the doubt, the quiet, unglamorous work of not giving up when giving up would be so much easier. She hit publish and felt nothing. No fireworks, no certainty. Just a small, fragile sense of doing something for herself, instead of waiting for someone else to choose. Her days became weeks. She kept writing, kept sharing, kept choosing to believe not that success was guaranteed, but that her story mattered even in the waiting. Then, on an ordinary Tuesday, 6 months later, her phone rang. An unknown number. "Hi, is this Maya? My name is Dr. Sarah Chen. I run a non-profit that helps young professionals navigate career transitions. I've been reading your blog. Your words, they've helped so many people. I'd love to talk to you about joining our team. We need someone who understands what it means to struggle and still show up." Maya's hand trembled. This wasn't the job she'd been chasing. It was something else, something born from the waiting itself. Yes, I'd love to talk." After she hung up, she walked back to the window. The same window where she'd watched the world move without her. But now she realized she hadn't been still. She'd been rooting, deepening, becoming strong enough to rise. Some seeds take years to break through the soil, but they were never doing anything. They were rooting, deepening, becoming strong enough to rise, and so are you.